Welcome everybody, Coach Andrew here from the Self-Aware Athlete. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a mental skills coach. I work with teenage players all across North America, just helping them refine and develop their mental game. So on today's call, I'd like to welcome Ian Lindberg, who is currently a member of the Jersey 87s of the EHL. Which for those who don't know, I guess it's a Tier 2 junior league on the East Coast. And the purpose of this discussion is really for anybody who is trying to learn about, I guess, the road between coming up through the hockey system as a younger teenager and getting committed to an NCAA school, which I guess is most people's dream. So first thing I wanted to do here is congratulate Ian on being able to make that jump to the NCAA world. So congratulations on that. And with this discussion, hopefully we can tease out some of those pearls of wisdom that kind of help you get there. So yeah, so congrats on your recent college commitment. That's exciting.
Yeah, thank you. I committed to Lebanon Valley College. It's a school in Pennsylvania. It's an NCAA school, and I guess my path there through the season was a little bit interesting because I was selected for the South All-Star game for like the league, and we played against them. So it was kind of like a cool experience to play against them, but then talk to their head coach after about the possibility of me going there next year for the next 4 years.
So that was how it all kind of came together in the end, right? So from the journey that I recall, I think that you and I had first met back in, I guess it was October of 2021. And I think that when you had come to me, you were kind of on the bubble, right? First year in the E, and sort of number 6, number 7. Ian's a defenseman. Number 6, number 7, in and out of the lineup on a bit of a roller coaster. And you'd reached out to me for a little bit of help with your mental game. Can you remember what was going on back in those days? What was how was it feeling first year in the E, and what was going on? What's your memory of it?
I remember that I remember I had a really good start during training camp, and I felt like the work I did over the summer paid off, and very, very quickly during the season I kind of started to feel or kind of discover that like my mental game was not very good at all. I was really worried about what people were thinking about, like especially about me and my play. And I took it very, very seriously and very personally, I felt that things were just kind of slipping out of control, and eventually, like as Andrew said, I was in and out of the lineup, and kind of things just kind of started to roll downhill in a bad direction.
So what did that look like? What do you think was rock bottom for you? Do you remember like a rock bottom moment there?
Yeah, I remember when I think it was kind of towards the end of the roster freeze, and I had already been traditionally I'm a defenseman, but we'd gotten some injuries, so I went up to forward for a little bit and got some playing time there, but it was still fourth or fifth line, and I think after kind of towards the end of the roster freeze, like my coach told me that if you stay on our EHL roster, you're only going to play maybe 1 or 2 more games. Through playoffs and stuff like that, like we would rather send you down to the premier level and you play the rest of 15 games, including playoffs there, which is what I ended up doing.
Yeah, little bit of a
rock bottom.
Yeah, a little bit of a bitter pill to swallow there, I guess, right? So what was it that made you realize that? I mean, I know anybody watching this video can't see you, but if you look at Ian, it's pretty clear that he's got the physical attributes to play this game at a high level. What was it that what got you on the mental skills track? What got you on the mental game track?
I think just through this season and turning the boat around, I think that what kind of started to help me mentally was just being able to realize that like the big thing was just staying in the present moment and not worrying about the future, the past, especially with my past. Like I can't get hung up on it, and making sure that I stayed grounded with where I am.
Yeah, I remember. So Ian entered my Mental Game Academy program back when I guess I'll say the wheels were off. I mean, by no means were the wheels off, but you had suffered a bit of a setback, I guess, right? Mm-hmm. And I think what I saw in your mental game assessment that we did, it was just a picture of you being stuck in your head and worried about mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And that was where we kind of picked up on the mental side, and I guess we pulled all that apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we saw the benefits kind of in the following season, right? Can you maybe
Mm-hmm.
pick up the journey from the beginning of that second season where you sort of started to pull everything together?
Yeah. I definitely. Well, first, like I had a really good summer, and I worked very hard to get to where I am today. But I thought that mentally, like this season, I've been a lot better about managing my mistakes, and like in the program we talk about soft eyes and hard eyes, and making sure that my awareness was not in my head, but kind of what's going on, and the situation and stuff like that. I think that really helped, as well as just breathing. I think meditation has helped a lot with clearing out the monkey mind. And once I started to pick that up during the beginning of this season, when I did make a mistake, it wasn't something that kind of blew up in my head, and I wasn't dreading it for after the game or during the practice or whatever it was. And I think all of those have kind of built it up to where we are today.
Yeah. So learning about yourself through the assessment process. I think the thing that I find
Mm-hmm.
really interesting about this is I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of players. Everybody's different. Everybody's starting
Mm-hmm.
from another place, or from a different place. So it's definitely important to figure out where you're at. Within the assessment process, we compare you to pro players, so it makes it really easy to figure out where you are on that mental skills journey. And I think for you it was about just getting in control of your attention, because when you're not in control of your attention, we know what happens, right? In your head you go, and you start messing around with that 50 to 70,000 mostly negative thoughts, and causes a lot of damage, right?
Right.
Yeah, so just to get you repositioned into the present moment and in control of the things you control, and understanding what happens when things get difficult, and having a plan to manage that. I think all that sort of work has been working pretty well for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about the All-Star Game experience. How did that shake out?
It was really cool. So it was kind of weird at first. Like we had like our coach announced like the original All Stars, and originally like I wasn't on there. But then like a week later I was added to it. So I wasn't quite sure what happened there, but I was going, and my name was on the sheet, and that's all that mattered. So it was really cool. Like we went to Lebanon Valley. They play at in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and if you know the rink, it's the old Hershey Cubs in the AHL, or the Hershey Bears.
Hershey Bears, yeah.
And like that's a very cool. It's a really cool experience playing in a building like that, and especially against them as well. But it, like, to be honest with you, I didn't really know what to expect when I stepped on the ice. Like I could feel myself, like I didn't know what the speed was going to be like. And after the game and looking back on it, like I feel that like I kind of belonged there, and I felt that I made an impact during the game. So it was a really cool experience, just with with players around the league and the different coaches and stuff like that.
Yeah. And so had you been approached by Lebanon Valley prior to that game, or is that sort of where you got on the radar?
No. Somebody was telling me that they heard one of their coaches say my name like a week before or something like that. So I believe I was on their radar, but the initial contact was after that game.
Gotcha. Okay. So they had you on a list somewhere or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. great. So, and that was kind of how it happened, right? You got yourself into that All-Star game, and use your mental game, I guess, to have an impact there, and got noticed, and the rest is kind of history. So that's great. Interesting story for sure. So you go in from 2 years. In 2 years, you go from on the bubble to All-Star game to NCAA commit. So quite a wild ride, right? Is there anything that you would you'd like to say to, I don't know, maybe your younger self? Maybe you picture yourself as a 13, 14, 15-year-old guy. What advice would you have for anybody who's in that boat that is looking to land one of these elusive NCAA spots?
I would say to my younger self or to anybody else, I would say to keep going. Because last year it was a very dark place. Like it was not fun, and it was a real grind. But like one of the easiest things is just to keep on showing up, every day, no matter where you are, and continuing just to work on yourself and to focus on yourself and just become a better player every day. I would just say, just keep showing up for yourself and believe in what you're doing, and continue to push for to be a better player.
Yeah, I think that's a great mindset. That's a pro mindset right there. So I congratulate you for having that under your belt, and I think that's worked for you very well. One of the things that I found is if you've got that kind of mindset, guess what? You just keep going, and when you look around, a lot of other guys have just quit. They're nowhere else to be seen. They've kind of given up, but you kind of put your head down and keep going and keep believing, and I think that's a big part of getting there, right? A lot of people will quit, so just keep showing up, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, looking forward to staying in touch with you as you begin your NCAA journey next year, and thanks for coming out and having the discussion.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me.
Excellent. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.